Elaliya, the girl with the endless black hair? Deep within the heart of an ancient, sprawling forest, where sunlight dappled through a thick canopy of leaves and the air hummed with the secrets of ages, lived a girl named Elaliya. She was a whisper in the woods, a mystery bound within the cold stone walls of a forgotten tower. From the outside, the tower looked like something plucked from a half-remembered dream, covered in ivy and time, but inside, it held a life, a quiet, solitary existence. Elaliya would often murmur to the silent stones, her voice a soft echo in the vast, circular room. Her world was this tower, and her only companion was her extraordinary hair. It was an endless river of midnight black, cascading from her head, pooling around her feet, and spilling across the cold stone floor. It was so long, so impossibly long, that it seemed to have a life of its own, coiling and winding through her small world like a faithful shadow. No one in the lands beyond the forest knew she existed, nor the reason for her confinement. She was a legend that had never been told, a song that had never been sung. Sometimes, as the first rays of morning light streamed through the narrow window, painting golden stripes on the dusty floor, Elaliya would gather her hair, its silky weight a familiar comfort in her hands. Maybe, she'd whisper, her breath fogging the cool air. My hair's the only friend I have left. It was her blanket at night, her curtain from the world, her one constant in an ocean of loneliness. But loneliness breeds dreams, and every night Elaliya's dreams were her escape. As sleep claimed her, she would fly out of her stone prison, soaring over the treetops she could only glimpse from her window. She dreamed of bustling market squares filled with laughter and music, of vast oceans that met the sky, of mountains capped with snow that glittered like diamonds. She dreamed of people, of faces, of voices other than her own. Lying awake as dawn approached, she would trace the patterns on the ceiling and promise herself, one day, I will see the world outside. One day, I will feel the grass beneath my feet. Meanwhile, far from the tower, a young man named Kael was making his way through that very same ancient forest. He was an explorer, a seeker of forgotten paths and lost stories. He had heard whispers of a strange, lone spire hidden deep in the woods, a place most dismissed as folklore. But Kael was drawn to the unbelievable. As he pushed aside a thick curtain of ferns, he saw it. There, rising against the sky, was a tower exactly as the fairy tales described, ancient and impossibly tall. He felt a shiver of awe run down his spine. It was real. As he drew closer, a faint, almost imperceptible sound reached him, a voice soft and melancholic, drifting from the high window. It was Elaliya, lost in her own quiet world. Is someone there? She breathed, her heart suddenly fluttering with a mixture of hope and fear. She strained her ears, listening to the familiar sounds of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the call of a distant bird. No, she sighed, a familiar wave of disappointment washing over her. No, it can't be. It was just the wind, playing tricks on a lonely girl's mind. But it wasn't the wind. Kael, standing at the base of the tower, cupped his hands around his mouth. Hello, he called out, his voice clear and strong. Is anyone there? The sound shot through Elaliya like a bolt of lightning. She froze, her eyes wide. It wasn't a whisper of the wind, it was a voice. A real, human voice. Who are you? She called back, her own voice trembling with disuse and disbelief. How did you find me? After years of silence, the sound of another person speaking to her was a shock, a miracle that sent her heart racing with a terrifying, exhilarating pulse. For Kael, the voice from above was the confirmation he sought. A life was hidden here. For Elaliya, it was the first crack in the walls of her solitude. A conversation began, hesitant at first, then flowing like a river breaking through a dam. They talked for hours, their voices bridging the distance between the ground and the sky. He told her of the world below, of villages and festivals, and she spoke of her dreams and the silent life she had known. Finally, with a courage she didn't know she possessed, Elaliya made a decision. She took a deep, shaky breath, her gaze fixed on the world beyond her window. Please, don't let me regret this, she whispered to herself. Then, gathering the immense weight of her hair, she let it fall. It unfurled like a silken rope, a dark cascade against the gray stone, tumbling down, 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 until it reached the forest floor where Kael waited. With Kael's help, Elaliya took her first steps outside the tower. The world was overwhelming, a symphony of sensations. The feeling of soft moss under her bare feet, the scent of damp earth and wildflowers, the warmth of the sun on her skin, it was everything she had dreamed of and more. Kael became her guide, her friend, pointing out the names of trees and the songs of birds. He promised to show her everything, from the highest mountain to the widest sea. For the first time, a genuine smile touched Elaliya's lips. Maybe, she thought, a warmth spreading through her chest. I don't have to be alone anymore. But as their friendship blossomed, something strange began to happen. One evening, as she absent-mindedly braided a lock of her hair, it began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. Tiny, glittering particles of gold dust swirled around it, dancing in the air before fading away. Elaliya stared, her heart pounding. What? What is happening to me? Her hair wasn't just long and beautiful. It held a power she never knew existed, a magic that shimmered just beneath the surface, a secret that could change not only her fate, but the fate of the world. They soon realized that Elaliya's freedom was not so simple. The magic woven into her hair was a beacon, and there were those who would seek to control it for their own dark purposes. The true reason for her isolation in the tower was not just to keep her hidden, but to keep her power contained. Before she could truly explore the wonders of the world, she and Kael would have to embark on a different kind of journey and adventure to understand her magic and protect it from the shadows that were gathering. Looking at Kael, whose presence gave her a strength she'd never known, Elaliya felt no fear, only resolve. She stood taller, her eyes shining with newfound purpose. Then let's go, Kael. I'm ready for whatever comes. And so, with the setting sun casting long shadows behind them, they left the tower that had been both her prison and her sanctuary. Elaliya's journey into a world of wonder, danger, and untold magic had truly begun. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying her laughter, the first true, joyful laughter the ancient forest had heard in a very long time. The world, she whispered, her eyes wide with awe. It's even more beautiful than I dreamed. Their path was uncertain, and great challenges lay ahead. But this was only the beginning of her story. The greatest adventure was still to come. As she walked beside her new friend, toward a future she would write for herself, Elaliya knew one thing for certain. And this time, I won't face it alone. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If you're as excited as we are to see where Elaliya and Kael's journey leads, do you not forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss the next chapter? See you on the next adventure.